Hey guys, uh, I'm gonna tell you why you're being targeted. And if you're part of the 144,000, I think I talked about what make you the true target. You have to have a universal blood type. You have to be a Virgo, and but not a star. All star children are Virgos. They're born in different. Only the indigo are my type. Are they considered well, they consider them the Holy Grail bloodline, right? And so we're born in Friday, the Sabbath day. So you have to be born in a Sabbath. You have to be your date of birth have to equal to 369 or 936. Or it doesn't matter what combination. It has to have the three numbers. You have to have a universal blood type, and yeah, and yeah. So and the last thing I just I just learned recently, you have to have 5 crowns. You have to have 5 crowns, not over your head. Is not they're not physical crown. They're actually DNA crown. It's in your fabric of your being. God created you and giving you these 5 crowns. And I'm going to tell you what the 5 crowns are. I'm just reading from, okay, the crown of life, and associated with divine immortality or divine lineage. The crown of glory is also linked to the angelic Nephilim heritage, and the crown of wisdom contained the forbidden knowledge, and the crown of power is tied to the strengths, ruling power, and crystal crown, which is associated with ascension, ascension, okay, crystalline structure, and non-coding DNA. You understand? So you are targeted because you have these 5 crowns that God given you, right? It's part of your makeup. It's part of the Abraham blessing, because I told you guys, we are the sons of God. You know that the story where they said they came into the daughter of men. We are the one. Okay. Anyhow, so this is the last piece of puzzle, part of your, you know, other aspect why you've been targeted. You know, because they wear a crown, but our DNA speak crown. You know what I'm saying? They may wear one, you know, but we are one. You understand? That's why you've been targeted by, because yeah. So it makes perfect sense, you know, if part of your family members died because of the DNA, because they know you carry divine bloodline, the whole grail bloodline. Okay, so there you have it. See, you learn something new every day. Anyhow, so I want to talk to you about my another story. I gotta tell you a story. You know, I bought an e-bike maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 weeks, and anyhow, I went to get it. It was somewhere in Burlington, and so anyhow, it was like a road trip to get to the house to pick up this, e-bike, and finally managed to pick it up. When I get to the bus station, the Go bus station, which is it was like a long trip bus, or no, I think it provincial. Is it provincial? Yeah, buses and whatnot, and so anyhow, to make this story short, is I get to the bus stop, waiting for my bus to head back to Hamilton. And the bus driver comes and he asked me to take the battery out. Otherwise, you will not be able to put it in this little bike rack in front of the bus or whatnot. So anyhow, it was the last bus too. I waited for over an hour and finally came in and he said, no, there's a policy. You have to take the battery out. Otherwise, you won't be able to board. So anyhow, the lady didn't give me... she didn't give me a key, right, for unlocking this bike battery. So I was like stuck. I tried my house key to tried my house key to remove the battery, and it didn't work. Anyhow, so at this point, and I said to myself, okay, guys, I'm just gonna go to a coffee shop, try to charge the battery, and then I'll be able to ride this bike back home, which was a lot of kilometers. If I told you, it was like 37 kilometers, it's like, yeah, it's like closer to Toronto on a bike, because Toronto is like 40 something, and so anyhow, I just said to myself, I thought about calling an Uber, but I knew the Uber wouldn't take the bike. They won't let me get on a bike with, put it in the back, whatever. It's not foldable one. It's not one of these bikes you can fold. And then I looked at the price. It was like almost $60 something. The cheapest one was like 50 something. And I said to myself, I paid $70 for this bike. I'm not gonna pay for an Uber like close to what I paid for this bike. Anyhow, so I just said to myself, yeah, those two things are kind of very deterring, and I just thought to myself, I'm not gonna really pay that, and I'm just gonna try to manage to ride this bike home. So at this point, when I got to that station, I waited for the bus an hour. Closer, I was pushing to like maybe 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock almost. Very late. Anyhow, I waited. No, I said I'm just gonna go to a coffee shop, and I went into a coffee shop. I bought something to eat and drink and whatnot, and I just said, I'm gonna ask the guys behind the counter if I could bring this e-bike here, because the coffee shop was empty. There was just 3 people, that's including me. 2 guys sitting there having a chit chat or whatever, and hi, yeah, and plus me, so 3 of us. So I just said to myself, I'm just gonna ask if they can let me bring this bike in here and try to charge it, and then I can just ride home. And I also charged my phone at the time when I was eating my, my food and drinking my coffee and whatnot. So at that point, it's almost midnight, And the guy, I'm jumping story to story. Anyhow, the guy let me bring in the bike. Initially, he hesitated. He told me like, I don't know if you could do that, And I said to him, buddy, I'm stuck here, so I really need to ride home, and my battery died, so it's gonna be a rough one. And he's like, okay, I suppose you can come in. So he let me, and I did not know you're supposed to push when you plug in the battery to charge. You're supposed to push on for the battery. I thought automatically when you plug it, automatically would charge automatically without having to push any button. I've learned that wasn't accurate anyhow. So anyhow, I waited, I finally rode with this bike. It has like a little bit of juice and it seemed like it gave me a little bit of kick, but it was all in my head. It was not really, it wasn't real. Okay? And I just said to myself, okay. And then the GPS got me to this area where it says main strip from here to the other side of Burlington, because I needed to go to this road called Plains Road, And anyhow, and then the GPS brought me to this like dead end, and it has a gate, but the gate was open, and it's like a forest. Yeah, it was like dark. There's no light, and it was a little bit muddy. And I just said to myself, oh, okay, I came all the way here. I got the bike. I'm struggling now to get this bike home. And this road is not going to be deterrent. I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm not scared of the dark. If I'm scared of the dark, I wouldn't be staying at that apartment building, Because I'm being attacked every night when I go to sleep. So I'm not scared of these people. So I go to sleep, They messed up my nostril. So anyhow, I keep waking myself sometimes, middle of the night, snoring really loud. I never had that before I came a target individual. People told me I don't snore. I sleep like a baby. People had told me that. So anyhow, people told me that, but they messed up my nostril. They've been attacking me in there. Anyhow, jumping story to story. Anyhow, so I just looked at this dark. It's like an enchanted forest. You know what I mean? It's like wizards and little fairies, and it was like that kind of forest. It's like very dark, wet. Grass was wet. I was walking in the mud, and I walked, and I just seemed like I'm walking forever, because in my head I had my flashlight on my phone on, and the GPS was on at the same time, and I was looking and trying to navigate my way through this forest. And when I finally got through it, and so anyhow, when I walked through this forest, honestly, guys, it seemed like I'm walking there for at least half an hour, 40 minutes. And I just kept looking at the light far away. I said, okay, I just need to get to the light over there. And finally, I kept looking around and stuff, But just, I like to know my surrounding, when I'm walking through, this enchanted forest. Anyhow, guys, you would not believe what time I got home. I got home around 5 something in the morning. That's from 11. I went to pick up the bike. I went to pick up the bike at 5 p.m. Because it took me almost an hour and a half to get there. And I walked all this distance to get to this lady's house to pick up this bike. And when I finally got there, anyhow, so I'm looking about 8, almost 7 something, almost pushing close to 8. Anyhow, I got there, picked up stuff. So just do the math. 5 to 5, that's 12 hours. I was on the road for 12 hours, guys. Yeah. 12 hours I was on the road trying to pick up this stupid bike. When I was walking through this enchanted forest, I literally threw this bike and walked off. And I just said to myself, what is this gonna do? I'm still stuck here, throwing this bike I paid money for. It was not a lot of money, but it looks like a pretty good bike or whatever. Anyhow, that was going on, guys. So I You see, I don't mind challenges. I've been at this game for a long time, so I've been challenged many times. I'm not about to give up now.